And welcome back to Idaho Today. You know, saving for retirement can feel like a daunting task, especially with the significant fluctuations in the market over the past few years and increases in our cost of living. But we have Andy, she's here from Mountain America Credit Union to give us 3 tips on how we can better prepare for retirement. So my big question, the question everyone watching is wondering, how do we achieve our dream retirement?
Well, you know, the first step of that is defining what your dream retirement is, right? Okay. Are you going to sail across the world on a sailboat?
That sounds good.
Right? I'm in. Yes. Do you want to start a business? Do you want to volunteer at your favorite animal shelter? By defining that and what that looks like, that's the first step to understanding how much money you're going to need and what your monthly costs are going to look like.
Okay.
From there, you can set a budget.
All right, so a little soul searching.
Yeah, definitely.
A little soul searching on what you really want to do with your golden years. What do you envision is going to be? Yeah, I like that. Dream big, right? Because you might as well reach for the stars and then see how close you can get there. All right, so some people need help to start with their savings or maybe even continue with their retirement. So help us there. How do we stay focused?
So the first thing is to make sure you have something planned for emergencies.
Okay.
The first thing that happens when you have an emergency is people stop thinking about retirement and start thinking about what's happening in their life right now. So by having emergency savings of 3 to 6 months worth of your monthly income, that'll save you that rush of pulling from your retirement or making an emergency situation, and you have that money there. I recently had a member who we had set up this plan, their retirement plus their 3 to 6 months of savings. They had an unexpected medical bill come up and they were able to pay that without any stress. And she was able to pull the trigger and retire in January as she planned.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
She's living a fantastic life.
Oh, yay!
Yes.
She's in her sailboat going around
she's in
the
her
world.
sailboat going around.
I love that. All right. And we're giving advice right now, too, for those who may have some time to prepare for retirement. But what about those who actually need a little more time as they're working towards retirement? Or not, actually, I'm sorry, not a little more time, but those who don't have enough time, right? Like retirement's coming up around the corner. So what should they be doing to make sure that they're prepared in time to retire?
You know, what I always advise anybody is practice, right? So if you know what your monthly income is going to be at that moment of retirement, start setting that as your budget every month and see if it's working. Are you spending too much? Are you spending too little? Okay. That way you can make those tweaks before retirement happens, or see, I need more, or hey, I actually have more spending money than I thought I was going to. That way, when you pull the trigger, you know you're going to be comfortable in your monthly payments.
Okay, all right. And then as far as additional tips, what else can you share when it comes to saving for retirement? Because I know that there are a number of things we have to keep in mind, right?
Absolutely. You know, the big thing we tell people is retirement is not just about the money in your bank. It's about planning and preparing so that if something happens, you know it happens. Anything from estate planning to child-dependent care to life insurance and even your child's education. By having all those things mapped out and ready to go before you pull that trigger on retirement, you're going to feel confident moving forward.
Okay, all right. So there are a number of things we need to take into consideration. I'm so glad that you mentioned off the top. You know, first sit down, do that soul search, figure out what do you want in your golden years, right? Like what's going to make you happy for that next chapter in your life? And then sit down and really assess, okay, what are the things, what are the, what I want to say, the responsibilities, right? Like the kids' college education, the other things that you know that you have to fulfill. Get that map, and then that way you can start building towards possibly that sailboat, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if people need to begin their journey, or maybe they need to make an adjustment to the one that they're on right now when it comes to preparing for retirement, where can they go for help from Mountain America Credit Union?
We always recommend meeting with one of our wealth advisors by going to macu.com/retirement and making an appointment to see them.
Wonderful. And it's never too early and it's never too late, right?
Never too early, never too late. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.